One of Excel's most important functions is the if function. It's almost like it's a threshold function in the sense that it opens the door to a more expansive use of functions in Excel. It's almost programming-like in nature at times. In this worksheet called Simple If, we're going to use the if function in column I to provide one of two different answers. This company has decided to provide bonuses for those whose job ratings are 4 or 5. And so a different way of stating the situation is to say, if your job rating is 4 or 5, we're going to put the value 2,000 in the bonus column. If not, 0. Now, the if function might be lengthy in its actual text entry, but the result is going to be a simple answer here. So we don't really have to make the column wider, but I'm going to do this so that we can see the function in its entirety on a single line as we create it here. So scrolling to the right and then arbitrarily making column I substantially wider. We're going to use the if function right here in cell I2 to check the job rating. Equal if. In its basic form, the if function has 3 arguments, or sometimes called parameters. The first is a logical test. A logical test could be something like comparing 2 different cells, or in the case of what we're about to do here, comparing a cell with a value. You can also compare a cell with a formula or with a text entry as well. So quite a few variations on what a logical test might be. So in this example, we simply want to type or click J2 to see if it's greater than 3. Now this is one way to come up with our test here in the example. That means, of course, 4 or 5. All the job ratings are whole numbers. Now, a different construction, but one that will have the same meaning in this example, is to say greater than or equal to 4. So either way, it's the same. Now, as soon as I press comma, watch the bold print below change to put the emphasis on value if true. The value here could be a simple value, for example, 2,000. It could be a calculation, a formula within the if function. It could be another cell reference. It could be a text entry embedded in double quotes. In our example here, it's simply going to be 2,000. Comma, what's the answer when the condition fails? In other words, if the job rating is 1, 2, or 3, what is our answer? We might put in 0. That would make sense in this context. If we want to display nothing, we put in double quote, double quote. If we'd like to display a text entry, we put text between the double quotes. So a number of variations here. All functions end in the right parentheses, but you don't really have to type it if there's only a single set. So we can press enter here, or slightly better if we know that we want to copy this function downward, we'll press Control Enter so that the active cell stays in place. And that's the answer you'd expect in this context because the job rating is 1. So we'll double click the lower right-hand corner, and as we look at the various answers, we can see they seem to be making sense. I'll press the F2 key here to display the content of cell I2. And so that's the same kind of formula, of course, that we're seeing in the remainder of column I. So in all these examples here, we're simply testing the job rating, and when it's equal to 4 or 5, the answer is 2,000. Otherwise, it's blank. In this example, we've seen a simple use of the if function. A test, it's either true or it's false, and we've provided an answer for each condition.